Hello and welcome to Finextra. I'm Thea George and I'm here with Charlie Browne from GoldenSource. We're at the Thomson Reuters Summit and we're talking about FRTB. Charlie, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
So how significant do you think data is when it comes to FRTB?
I think it's critical actually to FRTB. I guess the industry perception of what FRTB is about are reasonably complex calculations, expected shortfall, VAR, risk-weighted sensitivities. But I think practitioners realize that if you get your data lined up properly, time series data, aggregated with sensitivities, fully categorizable by instrument static, counterparty static, if you get all of that lined up properly, then the calculations become a lot easier. So I guess historically, a market risk function, which the FRTB regulation was kind of trying to address their issues, have possibly been focused on those calculations. FRTB has essentially kind of forced the industry to relook at all of that and look at it from a data perspective.
And what are some of the challenges that firms face when it comes to data around FRTB?
As a general point, banks have the data. What FRTB has come along and done is been incredibly prescriptive about how that data is used. So the ability to go back to source, take the lowest level of detail, trade level detail, aggregate using the required static data attributes for the standardized approach calculations. When you move over to internal model calculations, it's much more time series focused. So I guess the biggest challenges are going back to the original source data, making sure the attributes on that source data are fully verifiable, validated, and that will empower users and market risk teams to do whatever calculations they need to do. In terms of specific topics, you're going to hear non-modelable risk factors, you're going to hear modelability of time series data, et cetera. These are all, I guess, buzzwords within the FRTB and market risk and the industry generally, but really does come back to essentially getting raw data, making sure that it's validated properly, making sure you can aggregate it properly, making sure you can build up your time series history in a way that, again, following on from your first question, allows you to do those calculations a lot more easily.
And what would you say are some of the solutions to these challenges?
I guess to answer that question, you need to look at the two broad categories of data that banks use to meet their FRTB challenges. And I guess that's internal data, external data. External data, market prices, instrument static, it's the stuff that's out there. It needs to be bought, it needs to be brought in, but it's freely available. When you bring in external data, then you're looking at addressing challenges like non-modelable risk factors, doing your expected shortfall calculations, aggregating your risk sensitivities using standardized instrument static, et cetera. The internal data, though, is in some ways easier to get because it is, it's sitting within the bank's own systems. But, in other ways, it's more difficult to deal with because it's not standardized in any way. It's coming from Murex or Summit or the bank's in-house risk aggregation system. You've got to be able to standardize that data, let it kind of flow into your FRTB ecosystem, and then attach it to the external data, the market data. If you get both of those things addressed properly, internal data, your own positions, and the external data, the market data, the instrument static, et cetera, if you're able to combine those properly, the chances are you'll have a successful FRTB project.
Charlie, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching.